Howdy, this is Paul Solt, and I'll be teaching this iPhone development class. Today we're going to get started on learning how to set up your computer, and we're going to use the Mac App Store to show you where to find both Mountain Lion and Xcode. So if I just open up the App Store, on the right side we can scroll down and we see that Mountain Lion's on the top page. If you just click on that, you can purchase the app. So just click it and then hit buy, and it will download. So it's a 4 gig file. It's going to take a little bit of time, but this is one of the things that we'll need going forward with making iPhone apps. Now the next thing you can do is use the search bar to find Xcode. So we'll just type in Xcode and press enter. And then you can do the same thing. You just click the button here to install it. This one's a free install and it's 1.5 gigabytes. So it's going to take a little bit of time to download, and then it'll take a little bit more time to install, but once you do that, you'll be ready to go. And Xcode is really nice because it provides this visual editor where we can drag on visual elements to represent buttons and switches, and then we can connect them to code in the same window. So it's a really convenient tool, and it's way better than it used to be in Xcode 3. So it's a little bit about getting started. Now that we have the Mac set up, we're just going to launch Xcode. And so I'll click on it down here. I've added it to my bar. If you want to add Xcode after you open it, there's a couple ways to start Xcode. And then we can pin it to that bar. So to show you how that works, you can do Command Space to bring up the searchlight or spotlight, or you can just click on this little thing up in the top, and that will bring it up, and you can type in Xcode. And when you do that, you'll start the application after you press enter. Once the application's open, if you want it to stay down there, hold Control and click on the Xcode icon, and then click on Keep in Dock. And that way you'll be able to find it on the bottom of your screen or wherever you have your dock every time you start your Mac. So that's where I keep mine. All right, let's go ahead and get started with Xcode. So you open it up, and the first thing you'll see is to create a new project. So that's what we're going to hit. And let's get rid of Safari. So we'll create a new project, and normally you would start a Cocoa application if you're doing a Mac app, or you would start a single view application if you're doing an iPhone app. To get started for this, all I want you to do is create a command line tool under the OS X applications on the left. And this won't have any visual interface for a user to play with, but within Xcode we'll be able to see the input and the output, and then it will allow us to easily test new code and learn new topics rather than going through with the iPhone application. There's a lot of additional things that happen in an iPhone application that makes it a little bit hard to understand what's going on. So we'll start simple and build up to it. Here I just give it a name, so we'll call this the first program. And you can fill in your name for organization or your company's name. And then the company identifier is basically a reverse website. So it just needs to be a unique value. You can use whatever you want. I use com.paulsolt since that's my web address. And then the type is going to be C. So we're starting with the C programming language because that's the foundation for Objective-C, and Objective-C is called Foundation. And next we want to make sure that we have automatic reference counting on. We're going to use that for all of the applications that we write. And this is one of the new tools that you need the latest version of Xcode and Mountain Lion for. So that will make your life easier and simplify a lot of the topics. Next, we're going to uncheck Git. We don't need that for this sample project, and we're just going to hit create. So this is what the application first looks like. Depending on your screen size, you might have to hide some of the bars, and that's what these things do. They hide and show some of the sidebars so that you can configure your screen. And then we want to actually look at our first application. We don't really care about the initial settings that we saw there. And what we're interested in is this main.c program. So this is real code that's going to run right out of the box, and it will print the text that's within these quotation marks to the output terminal. So when I hit play on the top left, we see hello world on the bottom. And this is a classic thing that a lot of programmers do. We can make it better by just saying hello Skillshare. and we save that and then run it. If you hit run, it should save automatically for you. And then on the bottom, we see hello Skillshare. So that's your first program. The other stuff you see in here are some comments. So these are comments. Comments start with the 2 slashes, or we can do a block comment. This is a multi-line comment, so I can say hello. This is a comment that spans multiple lines. Okay, and so this is a way for you to write stuff to someone else who's going to read your code. It's not for the computer to process. The code that does get processed is this stuff in here, except for that line, and then this stuff down here. And we'll learn more about what this does. This 0 actually means success, so that's when the program's stopping, and we'll talk about that more later. So just to play around here, I want you to modify this line of code on your computer once you get it set up, and just add a couple extra printfs, and you can change them to whatever you want. So we could run this again, and I'm using the hotkey Command R to run, or you can just press the play button and it starts it. And you can see that we have now 2 statements. If I get rid of this special character at the end, it's a /n, then we will see everything go onto one line. So this is like the carriage return or the new line. And so when we hit the play button, everything's pushed on one line. If we put that backward /n back in and run it, then we see that they're on 2 separate lines. So that's a little intro on just getting everything up and running. And check back at iPhone Dev TV for more of my videos and information on getting started with iPhone development.